Hi. So when we hear people say that there is a systemic corruption, the systemic poverty that has been engineered and manufactured and curated, so that the higher public cannot be able to access resources, cannot be able to access education, cannot be able to access services that are typically made for certain people. There are people who say that these things are lies, and sometimes it's out of the privilege that people have, and sometimes it's out of ignorance, sometimes it's basically out of people not knowing. But when you look at it, even from a perspective of now that we are talking about education being capped down and us being given dumber generation, it's on purpose. There is specific reasons why people are going into or they are going into people acting like we want specialization from a very young age, and that in its own is something that is going to affect a whole generation of people that, if we are not careful, can be not whole, in that they can be limited in terms of how they are able to think and how they are able to solve problems by themselves. When you look at historically, even people who became good at specific things, they were first generalists, meaning they were exposed to a general knowledge of a little bit of everything, not so that they can be able to know everything at once, but so that they can be able to broaden their perspective and understand that you do not need to talk from a privilege point. And sometimes what specialization does is it caps down you, or it cuts you into just having a limiting knowledge into something. And that's not necessarily its own a bad thing. But if generally you're going to be a human being, you're not supposed to just look at things at a certain level. Yes, you're supposed to specialize, but not at a certain level. There are levels that you can be able to start specializing, which would be of impact to you and to the whole industry that you're going to specialize in. But generally, you need to know how to manage people as a human being. You need to know how to get yourself out of not really problem, but you need to know how to have small talk. You need to understand how you can be able to talk about agriculture and growth, and you can be able to talk about soil, and you can be able to talk about rain. Those are general knowledge that you need to have. And once we start to cap down and make it look like that is for specific people, then we're going to have a lot of problem in the future with that particular set of people. Have a good one.